This week on Hermitcraft.
Why? Why? He's got a scaffold too! This is not acceptable! No! No, babies! No!
Welcome to the Hermitcraft Recap, a show by DocM for DocM. My name is Pixelriffs, and our writer is LoyXP, or at least that's what the script tells me to say every week. As the comments beg for a server reset and various storylines are winding to a close, we see more people affirming to vacate the premises. One Grian, as such, will be leaving the season in his very next episode, which, given our luck, will come out either 10 minutes before or very slightly after this recap goes live. I guess it's the last we'll see of him too, because Season 6-finity, baby! This is in stark contrast with Keralis, who has just put together a brand new hermit crafting machine out of spare unicorn parts.
I don't even care, this is like my midlife crisis. I didn't get a Porsche, I got a pimped computer, I guess. And also, I did it myself. I built it completely from scratch.
Good Times with Scar is revitalized, but don't worry, the life-death balance will soon be adjusted by Iskall being killed. And now let's talk about all that and more after a short commercial interlude.
Take the house. There we go. Look, I will give you money. I will give you 10 diamonds to take this thing. Somebody, please.
Starting with Joe Hills, who like Sisyphus must push a rock up a mountain, with the added twist that he has to build the mountain first. But it certainly puts the Hermitage Island in a bit of context and really adds to the view once he removes all the bamboo from the beach one by one using a bed.
I'm just kidding. We're not going to do all of these with the rocket. I've got a bed. Time skip.
After building a mountain until he's blue in the face, or was he blue in the face before? Joe returns to Hermitland to track down BOO's medieval skin converter, and after mashing himself back into the correct hue, finds himself wearing a very seasonal shirt, and leaves Valentine messages all over the rest of the video for you to print out and give to your presumably very confused crush a few days late.
You keep my spawn chunks loaded, Valentine.
Whoa! Mountain building seems to be on trend right now, and Stress Monster has already set up a bunch of farms in hers. Now she just has to make them convenient, which involves a whole heap of hoppers, a dropper elevator, and words of encouragement for the items.
Up you go, my beauties. Okay, please be up the top. Please be doing your business. Hey!
Yay!
After a brief break to find out whether or not she's won the rights to kill Iskall, about which more later, she returns to the Tower of Power to finish off her AFK area, do a quick maintenance inspection, and complete the exterior with spiky ice bits.
Ooh, yeah. Oh god, I shouldn't do that when I'm not feeling well.
Some malicious ore manipulations take place at Concorp. Cubfan decides to clean out his metal storage silos of all their contents and give a much more exact evaluation to just how rich he is. To do that, he manually harvests every ore block in the silos, then breaks the rest down using his fortune pickaxe. This comes after the silos were specifically made so he could avoid fortuning the ores and just use TNT instead, but why split hairs? Instead, Cub fills them in with a much more fitting block to be blown up. Melons. Melons are grain, right? They have seeds in them.
That is actually the pumpkin vat. So yeah, that's looking nice as well. Although I do now realize that, but the melons, they actually don't drop melon blocks, they actually drop melon slices when exploded with TNT, so I don't know.
It's soon clear why he wanted to refine all the riches into their block form. Without them, the Concorp vaults would look embarrassingly empty. Then again, he could always store melons in those too.
You know, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say this is a good amount of Lapis Lazuli. I actually had too much. I'm actually not going to fill this last bit in, but yeah, I just wanted to show you guys how much Lapis we got.
TFC's vault is similarly full of riches, but until now he's kept them compact in his ender chest. The surroundings are rich with story, but you'll see nary a diamond block as he gives us all a quick tour of the facilities, pausing only to lament the fact that he could never quite figure out a way to get the surface elevator to work.
Alright, will somebody explain to me what the heck is going on here? I went right-clicked to place that block, and now I can't break that torch, and now right-clicking to place this thing it won't place.
But in possibly the most sensible use of diamonds this week, he returns to the surface manually and builds a giant sign over the site of his vault declaring himself Lord of the Diamond, which we're not going to argue with really, considering he pretty much mined all of those himself.
Could it possibly ever say anything else? Of course not. Anyway...
Keralis, in the meantime, is lured out of his own safety bunker with the siren song of the Run advertising campaign.
Okay, it's coming from here. I think we found it. The source to the evil noise comes from this, which says, Run has been restocked.
Before anyone else can claim the grand prize, he throws himself against every challenge the minigame gives him, sometimes with beneficial results, but mostly just failing at the advanced parkour part.
Okay, this one, I don't even know how this operates. Like, how does this work?
The randomized hauls still grant him a treasure of sorts. The Mega Jackpot Shulker Box of Wonders goes to the gentleman with the eyes in the B-Dubs decorated village.
Yes! Got it! Got him!
We'll leave it to more dedicated fans to try and calculate if he actually broke even on the investment at all. What we managed to figure out is that the only reason he even got the jackpot is because there simply wasn't anything left in the prize pool. Keralis' fervour piques B-Double-O's interest, and B-Dub swings by the run game himself before the stock runs dry completely to figure out what the big deal is. After spending 7 diamonds and failing to get a single key, I'm pretty sure he gets the picture.
Well, I feel like in order to get a proper understanding of the game, I gotta go a little bit farther than that. So one more. I guess we'll do just one more. Oh, this way, right. Did I miss the door? Okay, one more.
Like many of us, he's been pretty fixated on the snapshots for Minecraft's upcoming Nether update, so he takes DocM's Infinity Portal to a creative snapshot world so he can mess around with those new blocks and textures some more. It's worth the price of admission just to see his sideways face in netherite armor. But back on the server, he turns his attention to how he's going to make a quick buck and settles on the last thing that made him money, selling his bespoke building services. So over at the Idea Campus, he splits off the road towards a new modern building that will hopefully entice people to toss a coin to their general contractor.
I really like this a lot. I think this is gonna be super cool. You know, it's different. Modern's different. So I want to showcase, hey, we can do modern too.
Rendog has big build energy too after spending a good amount of his brain power figuring out what to build in or around his new flower farm. Overnight, inspiration strikes, and he settles on surrounding the entire thing with a Japanese castle. This requires getting hold of a handful of prismarine shards and ink, which means calling Iskall for various goods and services.
Hello, is this Sahara customer support?
This is Sahara customer support. Hi.
Hi.
How may we be of service?
Hi there. Listen, great shop, but I've got a bit of a problem.
It's fantastic, yeah.
So,
We must hang out sometime, dude.
yeah.
Iskall has a surprising amount of money for someone who works in a call center. It looks like that game development job on the side is paying off. One of those games being Run, the other being a 3-way deathmatch, because 3 people have bid on the privilege of finally bringing about his demise. Impulse SV, Grian, and Stress Monster are summoned to the shopping district at the site of Iskall's begging box from the early days of the server, and Iskall reveals Impulse was the winner with 64 diamond blocks as the winning bid.
Impulse bid 64 blocks of diamonds and Grian bid 60 blocks.
That is ridiculous. How
Let me
did
tell
you
you.
so much?
Impulse now has a week to dispatch Iskall in any way he sees fit. Regardless of how the deed is eventually done, Iskall has now managed to amass over 1,000 diamonds, so he's finally able to bring back the rich Skall suit and build himself a vault without an entrance, hoping to prevent any further irresponsible spending. It turns out that Impulse placed that bid a mere minute before the bidding closed, and he was able to bid that huge amount, a mere 1/3 of his net worth, because he'd won so much betting on Iskall during Demise. What goes around comes around.
I bet on Iskall to win Demise, and I won a ton of diamonds by doing that. So this is full circle now.
We've gone full circle. I just put in all my diamonds and I didn't really think about it.
And Impulse himself is quite keen to go around the Speedy Pines Raceway. Now the race course is finally open to anyone who can afford a garage. Impulse is the first to invest, naturally claiming the yellow garage as his own and decorating it before posting his top 3 lap times. Even if he eventually comes in 3rd place, he'll earn back the diamonds he invested.
And we're kind of spinning out all over the place. Hope this isn't going to make anybody sick from watching this.
He's already getting cash back from Grian, who effectively refunds half of Impulse's investment in Iskall's death, giving him 32 diamond blocks just so he can have a hand in giving Iskall a good send-off.
You know, you kill half of Iskall, I'll kill the other half of Iskall.
Yeah, we'll just split them right in half.
We'll go down the middle.
This could potentially be awesome.
It's not like Grian will need his cart anyway, now he's dead set on going back to his home planet. Yes, seriously, that is the plan. He's off to build a slime block rocket to fly through the center opening in his base, and perhaps land on the 7th season or that in-between miniseries he wanted to do.
I don't really know what this is doing. But this is pretty slender. This will make its way out of the top. A-okay.
Again, following a tutorial and with no proof that it will actually work, but he does a bit of redstone. It's too bad that, 1, slime block rockets are so slow he might only make it to the next season by the time it's about halfway through, and 2, his base goes to the build limit, which is where the slime block machine will stop anyway. We won't even get a final hurrah soaring over the beautiful base he made. This is just a glorified elevator to the rooftops. He's had no luck selling the Haunted Mansion either, as the only person thematically interested in it by now has finished his own. Good Times with Scar, still as dead and as grey as a doornail, is finally addressing the painful hollowness of his Frankenscar mansion. While the structure itself is fairly cramped and just looks pretty, the basement is sure big enough for something spectacular. And so Scar assembles the revitalization machine that will zap him, or whoever that default skin person is supposed to be, back to life, with some assistance of a pet familiar. What, no Lupus Noctre for the time-lapse music? How very not a woo of you.
Jelly, do you have the key? Can you open the tank? Help me. Help me!
It's not long before Impulse comes a-knocking, hoping to use the machine to ditch his zombie skin for good. And after leaving a creeper crater on Scar's doorstep mid-conversation, it's no surprise that the creeper face on his freshly restored skin comes back bolder than ever.
I got a different t-shirt on, apparently. It looks good. My clothes look better than they used to, for sure. I look better. Or maybe I just forgot what I look like. I don't know.
As for the one person intentionally going full corpse, Zombie Cleo is spreading her armor stand detailizations as a plague upon the land. Is this why her base is an island this season? They wanted a body of water to, stop it expanding? Well, tough luck there, because the ship too is now decked out with the armor stand details, though it's still not making it to see if that Kraken from before has anything to say about it.
Woo! Voluntary? What? I don't know what that means.
The Pumpkin Pirates are much more interested in assaulting the shores of Tortuga, which is where Cleo's battle experience comes into play. We got quality pixelated blood, or maybe they've been sentient coral all along. That, coupled with the large terraforming of the entrance to the secret grotto, makes the harbour of Tortuga complete, if not welcome for visitors. Just let the locals duke it out for a bit. And finally there's DocM, who of course was responsible for all the events we've just described, but also found the time to build up an alien tractor beam, pulling the ground apart in search of his redstone tunnel bore.
Annoying it was building this beam, because it's a lot of individual floating bits and pieces, so I needed a lot of scaffolding work to make this thing, work pretty much, right?
This is really the cherry on top, or rather below, his raid farm, and it adds 4 beacons to the area, giving him all the worthwhile effects. He's certainly thankful for the regen and resistance once the raid farm is in full effect and the Vexes come flying out, but after improving the item collection system, we're not sure what the biggest disadvantage of the farm is, flying evoker-spawned demons, or having to throw out all those crossbows.
Yeah, man. Okay, this will definitely, and that was not a full capacity run. Yeah, this will require quite a strong item processing system, mainly because, we have a lot of non-stackables in there. There's also a nice potion of healing.
And that's about it for this week's recap. Our writer is LoyXP, and my name is PixelRiffs. I have to tip my hat to DocM once again, and this time not because he's puppeteering the entire Hermitcraft cast, but because I've been using his Iron Farm design in my Skyblock series, the latest episode of which is linked in the end screen theatre. Don't forget to leave a like while you're here and subscribe so you won't miss future recaps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.